Now on the CTV News at 5, 10,000 flight attendants are hours away from walking off the job. Plus,
Alberta doesn't really want you doing this right now. We don't want this.
Tensions rise at Danielle Smith's Alberta Next meeting. And Lethbridge police say no charges will be laid in a fatal motorcycle collision.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Air Canada flight attendants are just hours away from going on strike. Air Canada continues service at Calgary's airport, although flights tonight to London Heathrow, Toronto and Vancouver have already been cancelled. The flight attendants could go on strike at 1 a.m. Saturday. Air Canada has also given notice to lock them out. Some Air Canada passengers say they sympathize with the flight attendants.
Honestly, I totally understand with the strike. I totally support them. So I understand that this is the consequence of that. So it doesn't create as much stress or frustration for me, but I understand lots of people will be stressed and frustrated.
I mean, we don't have any information yet. You know, all flights are not cancelled at the moment, even those on Saturday. So we don't know if ours are affected or not. So the information policy is super weak.
Flight attendants' biggest sticking point is they only get paid while in the air, not for the work they do on the ground. Air Canada said it would notify customers of cancellations through email and by text messages. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are now both in Alaska for the high-stakes summit over the war in Ukraine. Here's what the U.S. president had to say on the way to the talks.
I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today. Everyone said it can't be today, but I'm just saying I want the killing to stop.
The two leaders got off their planes at virtually the same time. Trump gave the Russian leader a small applause as they met on the red carpet, where they shook hands. They then proceeded to walk together and even got into the same presidential car to head to the site of the summit. A traveling panel collecting feedback on Alberta's grievances with Ottawa faced its largest crowd yet in Edmonton last night. Now, the moderator struggled to keep the crowd on topic as outrage spilled over into interruptions and challenges to the government's agenda. Merrick DeCash reports.
We as Albertans must be able to respectfully debate and discuss these issues here with our friends, with our family, with their neighbours.
Premier Danielle Smith, along with 15 members of her Alberta Next panel, were in Edmonton on Thursday night, fielding questions and concerns from Albertans. It didn't take long for things to get tense.
And my response to the question is actually, in all 6 questions on the agenda tonight, is that Alberta doesn't really want you doing this right now. We don't want this.
Greg Oldring was the second person to come up to the microphone.
We're concerned about health, education, and the poverty that we're seeing. That our neighbors are living under tarps, and here we are talking about transfer payments and things that just don't move the needle for Albertans.
Others showed appreciation for an opportunity to address the Premier face-to-face.
Leaders in our community that are on this panel are here tonight when I think a lot of people would rather be on the golf course or on their deck having dinner, and they're here.
Some speakers took the opportunity to call out the Premier.
So, Danielle Smith, do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? And will you sign this petition?
Smith responded by calling out the federal government.
So they should have the same respect for our jurisdiction as we do for theirs, is what I would say. So yes, I do believe in a united Canada and an Alberta sovereign within it.
6 topics were discussed, including abandoning the CPP for an Alberta pension plan, a provincial police force to replace the RCMP, and immigration. Protesters were stationed outside the event.
This is a propaganda tour, and actually it's a pre-election campaign for Danielle Smith, and it's a waste of money.
The Alberta Next panel will hold 2 more town halls at the end of August, one in Lloydminster and the other in Fort McMurray. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Meanwhile, Alberta's Premier says she is confused by her government's recent policy change. It removes a requirement for the Premier, ministers and political staffers to publicly share receipts for expenses exceeding $100.
The issue that the Cabinet discussed was that there are a number of my ministers who go to the same hotels when they're frequenting different municipalities, and they just wanted the name of the hotel redacted, just in case people were tracking them down and following. That was what the policy was supposed to be. It turned out to be something quite different.
The new policy came into effect last Friday. Smith says she will be discussing it with her cabinet Tuesday to figure out what happened and to plan for a reversal. Lethbridge police say no charges will be laid in a fatal motorcycle collision that claimed the life of a 62-year-old man. On July the 8th, police say the motorcycle was traveling westbound on Crow's Nest Trail when it ran a red light at the intersection of 30th Street North and collided with a truck making a left turn northbound onto 30th Street. The male driver was taken to hospital where he later died. Police believe speed was a factor, and witnesses reported that the motorcycle operator had made a dangerous maneuver to overtake another vehicle before continuing through the intersection on the red light. As a result, police say no charges will be laid. And we have an update from City Police. 62-year-old Robert James Spire, who was previously wanted after he allegedly robbed the Ace Liquor store on the 300 block of Blue Fox Boulevard North in June, has been found and arrested. Police thank the public for their help. We have made it to the weekend, Danielle Savoni.
We have, and you know what? We have a good amount of cloud cover in the far south right now. That will continue tomorrow. If you're looking for your brightest day of the weekend, it looks like Sunday for most communities. You can also see what's tracking towards us, but basically the mountains are going to keep a lot of this moisture off to the west. We'll see some cloud cover from this. Isolated showers certainly possible come tomorrow, and then things brighten up for Sunday. 26 degrees is the current temperature in Lethbridge. It is a little breezy out there as well. 25 in Medicine Hat and in Brooks, and 23 in Pincher Creek. So your weekend forecast is coming up. We made it, Jackie.
We did. Thank you, Danielle. Southern Alberta has seen a cooler and wetter summer than most of us are used to, but the region will be in for a rare heat wave next week. Quinn Keenan tells us more.
It's been a quiet summer for staff at the Westminster Outdoor Pool. Cool weather and rainy days have kept guests away. The pool has had to close early several times.
It's been hard. I know last summer was a super hot summer, so we've had a couple days, unfortunately, that we had to close early. But, you know, the days that are warm are the days that we look forward to, and, you know, we enjoy having our patrons come down here.
But the forecast indicates it could be a busy end to the season. Next week, we'll likely see several days in a row of 25 degrees and above. Some days could potentially even get over 30 degrees.
It'll be good. You know, we want to end with some warm weather, so we give people some good memories over the winter, and hopefully they'll end up coming back. And, yeah, August 30th is our last day, and the 31st we have our Paws in the Pool dog swim.
The upcoming heat has outreach programs preparing as well. Lethbridge's food banks have put out an urgent call asking for water donations. While it hasn't been as hot as previous years, outreach workers have still been handing out plenty of water.
Our citywide water drive has been running since the beginning of June, and we've been having kind of a weird summer where we haven't had long spells of that dry heat, but our outreach teams have still been going out, and so we got to a point where we actually ran flat out of water at both food banks.
The food banks have been scrambling to get ready for the upcoming heat wave. But the latest call for donations has already seen residents and organizations come through with much-needed donations.
We are starting to see the community responding, which is just wonderful. We've had a few groups that go out and buy a whole bunch on our behalf. We've had some collecting for us, and we've seen several people come as individuals with a case or two.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Preparations are underway for this year's Whoop Up Days at the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Center ahead of what is expected to be a very busy festival. Organizers say preliminary ticket sales are actually triple what they were at this time last year. Carson Marsouk has more on what to expect at Lethbridge's largest summer festival.
Setup has begun for this year's Whoop Up Days.
This is the good time when all the preparation turns into reality, and we're just so excited as a team to get this going.
This year's festival will feature staple events like the West Coast Amusement Midway, Blackfoot programming, live music, the Lethbridge and District Pro Rodeo, and food vendors. Advance ticket sales are nearly 3 times higher than this time last year.
You know, coming out of COVID, there was a lot of work to rebuild a fair basically from scratch, and it's sort of been a 4 or 5 year process to get to where we are and get this really rolling and engage the community in that way. And so I think that hopefully that this is a sign that the community is really enjoying this.
Last year's event set a record for paid admission with more than 40,000 people through the gates. This year's festival isn't only looking to increase attendance numbers, it's also grown into Sunday.
It's a smaller pared down day. It'll be the Midway, the food trucks, the beer garden, and the 6th Street Suites area, but with only a $5 admission.
The annual event will also shine a brighter spotlight on the community this year. A new community zone has been created where more than 20 organizations and nonprofits will be set up to showcase their offerings.
It's really what we want and what we want to grow into in future years is that when you come to Lethbridge during Whoop Up Days, that you feel that spirit from the second you hit the city limits. That's not an event that's just confined to the space here at Lethbridge and District Exhibition, but it's something that spills out into the community.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Whoop Up Days gets underway Tuesday morning with the annual parade before the grounds open at noon. Now the festival runs from Tuesday until Sunday. Naming rights for the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Centre are now up for grabs. A request for proposals has gone out for the centre. It's unclear at this time how many, if any, businesses have made submissions. The contract would be 5 years beginning on October the 1st. The proposal comes after City Council voted to split the Lethbridge and District Exhibition into 2 separate entities, one being the Lethbridge and District Agricultural Society, while the other is Event.co, a municipally controlled corporation. The $77 million facility opened in August of 2023. Prospective sponsors have until August 27th to submit naming rights. Open Farm Days is set to return tomorrow right across the province. The event celebrates Alberta's agriculture while giving an insight into how food gets from the farm to the table through interactive experiences on farms and ranches throughout the province. Now in its 13th year, Open Farm Days includes livestock, corn mazes, wineries, petting zoos, you pick farms, and more. More than 150 farms will be taking part in the 2-day event. A full list can be found at albertaopenfarmdays.ca. Also happening tomorrow is the 5th annual Shoes for Kids YQL fundraiser. The annual fundraiser collects pairs of shoes for kids in grades 1 to 12. The shoe drive started in 2021 with the objective of serving students in Southwest Alberta with new pairs of shoes. This year's campaign hopes to collect 300 pairs of shoes and raise $20,000. This year's event will be held at Murray Chevrolet from 10 until 1 tomorrow. Galt Gardens will be much louder than usual this weekend. The Lethbridge Electronic Music Festival is returning after a 2-year hiatus. This year's event will be a scaled-down version of previous festivals. It will feature just one stage, but there will be plenty of entertainment around Galt Gardens. The all-ages event will include a family fun zone. The hope is to turn the festival back into an annual event. It starts tomorrow at noon and runs until 11 p.m. Well, 12 dino statues in Drumheller need repair, and a local volunteer group says it might not be able to repair them all this year. The Dino Arts Association is made up of about a dozen volunteers who assess and repair damage to the 32 dinosaur statues across the city. It says an average repair can take 3 or 4 days. Now, some of the statues are more than 60 years old. Well, Danielle is back with the weekend forecast on the other side of this break. Also, a tentative agreement has been reached with some Alberta healthcare workers. We've got those details next.
All right, well, today certainly warmer than yesterday, and we're really back to normal at this point. It's 20 degrees in Calgary, so Calgary is still a little below normal at this point, and certainly Edmonton at 13. All right, when we look overall at the picture of all of Alberta, 25 in Medicine Hat, so that's pretty much where we should be for this time of year. Yesterday at this time it was about 20 degrees. Lethbridge yesterday at this time was 18 degrees, and now we're normal at 26. Still cooler up to the north, as you can see. but that will change as we head into this weekend. Okay, here's a look at maximum wind gusts today. Pincher Creek just over 50, Lethbridge just over 40, and Medicine Hat close to that 30 mark. Basically in the far south, we can tack on another 10 kilometers per hour, and that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. So a little windier out there tomorrow. Certainly some cloud cover as well as this wave moves in. So the mountains will keep a lot of the moisture off to the west, but a lot of cloud cover will make its way in. And especially south of Lethbridge, south of Medicine Hat, that's where we have a decent chance of showers, but Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, a smaller chance. But even in Medicine Hat, we could even see a late day thunderstorm tomorrow. The ridge of high pressure is starting to gain some steam here, and we're looking at heading into a long, dry, hot stretch here. But it's going to take a bit of time to materialize. All right, so when I show you the future cast tomorrow, yes, this is the overnight hours. Tomorrow you can see the cloud cover building in from what's going on to the west. You can also see the mountains keeping most of that moisture off onto the BC side. There will be some pockets that will develop in the afternoon hours, mainly south of Pincher Creek, south of Lethbridge, south of Medicine Hat. But later in the day, closer to the supper hours, we could see a little bit of this activity, shower, even thunderstorm activity, make its way enough to the north that it may really clip the edge of Medicine Hat. And then Sunday, ridge of high pressure really builds in, and it's nothing but sunshine for the most part, and temperatures will start to climb as well. East Kootenay tonight, 13 degrees, small chance of showers, and that small chance of showers is there tomorrow as well, and it will be a gusty one up to 50 kilometers per hour with a high of 20 and a good amount of cloud cover. Same idea really for Crow's Nest Pass, 22 degrees for tomorrow, gusting up to 60 kilometers per hour, and a good chance of a lot of cloud cover. You may see the sun peek out at times, and there's a small chance of showers tomorrow. 30 degrees is the high expected for Medicine Hat for tomorrow. Gusts around 40 kilometers per hour and a small chance of a supper time thunderstorm. Okay, and when you look at Lethbridge, 27 degrees for tomorrow, so a little hotter than today, but gustier, up to 50 kilometers per hour and a good amount of cloud cover out there tomorrow. Small chance of an isolated shower in the afternoon hour, but again, most of that activity should stay further south of Lethbridge. All right, then that ridge of high pressure really does build in. So by Sunday, 27, maybe even 28 degrees and a whole lot of sunshine, and really a lot of sunshine carrying through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and most of Wednesday as well. And we will certainly crack 30 on Tuesday. We may even crack it on Monday as well. So a lot of heat to come in that longer range forecast.
The province says Alberta Health Services has reached a settlement for a new collective agreement with some healthcare workers. Contract negotiations have been going on for a year between the Health Services Association of Alberta and AHS. It includes a 12% general wage increase over 4 years. The union is recommending the tentative agreement, and voting starts at the end of the month. The HSAA represents about 29,000 healthcare professionals. Fort Macleod Emergency Department will be temporarily closed for part of Sunday, but it's not due to a lack of staff. The closure is because of a planned emergency power shutdown from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sunday. Nursing staff will remain on site, providing care for long-term residents. There will also be no public health appointments on Monday, August the 18th. That's because of the shutdown. Patients needing help are asked to contact 911 or go to health facilities in Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, Cardston, or Claresholm. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, 65 years ago today, the first game was played at Calgary's McMahon Stadium. Sports is next. Game 1 of the Western Canadian Baseball League Finals is in the books. It was a battle on the mound as Sylvan Lake took Regina to the 11th inning, winning Game 1 3-2. The Red Sox look to tie up the series tonight on the road in Sylvan Lake. If the Sox win, Game 3 would be Saturday night. Lethbridge Hurricanes have added some experience to their front office. Barclay Parnetta will serve as senior advisor to GM Peter Anholt this season. Parnetta has spent the last 7 seasons as GM of the Vancouver Giants. The Giants made the playoffs every season they were under his tenure. His time was highlighted by Vancouver's 2019 Western Conference Championship. He's also worked with Team Canada on numerous occasions. Today marks 65 years since the opening Stampeders kickoff at Calgary's McMahon Stadium, a venue at the heart of Calgary's sports scene. The stadium was built in just 103 days thanks to a $300,000 investment by Calgary oilmen Frank and George McMahon. Over the years, McMahon Stadium also welcomed university, junior, and high school sports. It recently became the home to the Wild FC professional women's soccer team. The facility is most famous for hosting the opening and closing ceremonies of the 1988 Winter Olympics, the 1990 royal visit from Queen Elizabeth, and several high-profile rock concerts. The legacy means everything to the McMahon family.
I don't know that Granddad knew that in 65 years the stadium would still be standing. I think he'd be very proud and happy that it was, and I think he would want us to still enjoy it for what it is. And it's still doing what it was supposed to do, which was bringing people together.
Getting the stadium in there, being able to generate more revenue, and all the other things that went along with it really helped the team. The fact that it is still here is a great testimony to how well it was built.
Talks continue over one day replacing or demolishing the structure. Renovations and concourse upgrades have been done recently to make the stadium better for next year's Grey Cup. Calgary Flames have revealed a new look at center ice. A video on X shows crews installing the familiar Flaming Sea logo in the center circle, but fans will notice a few differences. The sea is white, the inversion of last season when it was red, and there were small white flaming seas all along center line. Some fans online say they like it, others say could take some time to get used to. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we hear about the healing power of animals. "12 years ago, lightning struck, changing Paul Matheson's life. He developed health issues, but he eventually worked his way to recovery in a very unusual way. CTV's Maria Soreau from Brendel PEI has that story.
Step for step, Paul Matheson is never alone out here. Some follow him on 4 legs, some on 2. This farm wasn't always a part of his plan, but a 1 in a million moment rewrote the rest of his life.
At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and I guess this was the reason.
On a day as sunny as this one in August 2013, Matheson says a storm suddenly started. He ran outside to roll up his truck windows when he was struck by lightning.
There was a big bang and white flash all at once. The lightning hit the telephone pole, come down the guide wire, and basically threw me into the truck.
In the aftermath, Matheson was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and had to give up his work as a paramedic. For nearly 3 decades, he served communities in Canada and around the world, from Algeria to Paris.
Now Matheson's work is here at the Brudenell Miniatures Barnyard Zoo. It all started with a pint-sized horse he bought his granddaughter. Then, over the years, he filled a farm.
These days, it's how he gives back.
It's our favorite place to come to every single time we come visit PEI. It brings the kids a lot of joy.
I like seeing the animals. They're so cute, and I just like to have a chance to feed them. He bites my hand.
Matheson says it's these smiles that make the experience all mean something.
What's your favorite animal?
The PTSD is hard for him to talk about, but he wants to help raise awareness. He says while lightning can strike without warning, so can happiness. Maria Soreau, CTV News, Brudenell, Prince Edward Island.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.